Good evening. Welcome to Monday's guided meditation session at Vajrayana Institute. And I am Cheong. Today I thought maybe we can explore the theme of purification in the next two meditations. So this word purification is quite common in Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So it describes a category of spiritual practice, some meditation as well, where the idea is we accumulate mistakes, negative deeds, harmful habits, which have this connotation of being polluting ourselves. And so this is a practice of freeing us from such impurity to re-establish a sense of purity. Personally, I don't like this dichotomy of purity and impurity, because the fact that we purify so implicitly imply we start off being impure, and the word impure is not so innocent. It's often associated with a sense of guilt, shame, a sense of unworthiness, especially if you struggle a lot with your self-image, self-identity, your self-esteem. Sometimes, unintendedly, the practice of purification may entrench that kind of self-image. Oneself being somehow imperfect, impure, damaged. So I personally don't really think in terms of this purity-impurity kind of dichotomy. I think of them as quite unnecessary, sort of complicates the picture. But nonetheless, I think it's important to address the burden of the past. And that can come in the form of actual deeds or actions that we have done. We all make mistakes, of course. We make choices that are unwise and we have to live with them. So there is the aspect of actions and deeds, but there is also the aspects of habits and conditionings. The patterns of reactions, how we react to things, how we deal with things. These are also very much a part of us. And they might be helpful in the past, when we're younger. Maybe they help us to survive, help us to get on with our life. But nonetheless, maybe at this point of time, they are no longer helpful. They become a kind of limitations, or they sort of get us stuck in the past. So these are the two things, the past actions, mistakes, as well as the past conditionings from the past that are very much alive now. What can we do about them? How can we release ourselves from their not so helpful influence, so that we can have new experiences, we can try new things, we can have allowed for new possibilities for ourselves. So in this first meditation, which is a familiar one for those who tune in now and then, this is my meditation, which I call touch and release. Synchronized with the breath, I'm going to invite you on the in-breath to return your attention to be in touch. First with the body, the most obvious one, but to be in touch with what is happening here and now. And this first step is very helpful in facilitating this process of purification or process of release from past mistakes and past conditioning. Because first and foremost, we need to be aware and to be able to acknowledge those conditioning, those habits, acknowledge those mistakes, those choices, as well as their actual impact on us or others. Yeah. So acknowledgement, along with awareness, is the first step. It frees us actually from all the energy we spend in denying, in suppressing, in pushing things out of our mind and out of our awareness. We free us from, which consume a lot of energy, those acts of denial, act of suppression or self-deception. So this is one conditions we can work on, is acknowledgement, is letting things into awareness or allowing ourselves to be in touch with what is happening here and now. So there's the touch. And I'm going to invite you on the in-breath to come back and to be in touch, primarily with the body. But along the side with the body, you will notice feelings, you will be in touch with thoughts or whatever is arising. So just to be in touch and to be aware. And on the out-breath, we practice releasing. Or rather, I should say, we remind ourselves, we remind our body, our mind that they can release, that there is this option. Instead of holding on to it, we can release it. Instead of repeating the same old thing, we can let drop the old habits, the old experiences, and to welcome something new and different. So we are not actually doing the release, but we are facilitating the release by simply reminding ourselves with a simple word or my so-called mantra, release. So on the out breath, mentally, mindfully, we simply say the word release in our own mind as a reminder to ourselves, to our own body and mind, that they can release. And then we can see for ourselves whether this two simple act of to be in touch and to facilitate release, whether it actually are able to bring about some change in our experiences. Maybe help to facilitate the release of tension, which is a part of our reactivity. Quite often, a lot of those tensions we hold in our body are reactions to the stress in our life, part of the conditioning. So we are facilitating that release physically. Then maybe sometimes it also happens emotionally or feeling-wise. There's a shift in the feeling, a release of old feelings, a welcoming of different new feelings. And then maybe also in terms of the mind, in terms of the thoughts, the kind of thoughts we entertain. We can release the old story and welcome in something new and different. So let's give it a try and guide you through it. And of course, you're most welcome to ignore me. You know what you're doing and just continue on your own. All right, so let's start by placing our body in a suitable meditation posture. So feel free to adopt a sitting posture, sit on a chair, sit on the floor. You can lie down, lie on your back in the privacy of your own place. And you're most welcome to find a posture that actually works for you. So while you do that, I'm going to ring this bell to signal the start of the meditation. So as you settle your body into your meditation posture, see if you can take care to place your arms and hands in a position such that they are supported, that you do not need to tense up your shoulder muscles or arm muscles unnecessarily to somehow hold them up in some special position. As for the eyes, you're most welcome to close them completely if you find that helpful, or you are more used to keeping your eyes open or half open, then you can also do that. So let's allow our body some time to adjust, to be comfortable, to find its way into this meditation posture. I like to begin by paying attention or becoming aware of the sensations at the points of contact between body and seat, body and ground. And tune into and be in touch with sensations of solidity, firmness, and stability beneath us, beneath the body. Almost as if I'm sending a message to my own body, my brain, my mind, to reassure them that the body in this posture is resting on a solid, firm support. The whole body will be well supported, well balanced, and safe. And this will facilitate a natural process of loosening up, almost as if the body decides that It does not need to be so tense, so tight. It can unwind a bit. You can let go of some of those unnecessary contractions or tightenings throughout the body. And gradually, in its own time, the body can really settle down comfortably into this posture. As a means to facilitate the transition of body and mind into meditation, and also as a way to illustrate the practice of purification, of acknowledging past conditionings and actions, as well as facilitating the release from their influence. I'm going to invite you to make use of the breath as a support. See if we can, within this posture, become aware of the sensations of our own breath. Allow ourselves to notice the in-breath and the out-breath. And then synchronize with the natural rhythm of the breath. I'm going to invite you on the in-breath to return your attention to your own body, starting at the crown, such that breathing in, we are aware, we are in touch with the sensations at the crown. Breathing out, we mentally say the word release to facilitate the release of our body and mind from old conditionings, reactivities. So breathe in, be in touch with sensations at the crown, at the topmost part of our body. Notice sensations here, tingling sensations, pressure, warmth, coolness, maybe nothing at all. On the out breath, simply say the word in our own mind, release. So simply touch and release, synchronize with the breath, using as little effort as we can manage, not trying to make anything happen. And then we release our attention from the crown and allow our attention to settle at our forehead. Choose a spot somewhere between the eyebrows, the center of the forehead. Breathe in, be in touch with sensations here at the face, sensations at the forehead. Are we tensing up the muscles of the forehead? How about the sensations in the rest of the face? Breathing out, say the word release. Is it possible for us to relax the tensions in the facial muscles and welcome in a feeling of softness, of ease and comfort into our own face? And then breathing out, release our attention from the forehead, from the face, and place our attention gently at the throat, just a light touch. So that now as we breathe in, we are aware of sensations at the throat, at the neck. And as we breathe out, we remind ourselves with the word release. Just a simple touch and release without much effort, no need to struggle, no need to make anything happen. Simply acknowledge what is here and facilitate a natural process of release in its own time. And then we move on. We allow our attention to alight on the right shoulder. Pick a spot at the right shoulder, and as we breathe in, be aware of sensations at the right shoulder. If you're like me, maybe you notice uncomfortable feelings here, tension, tightness at the right shoulder. And on the out breath, once again, we mentally say the word release. Breathing in, be in touch, return our attention here and now to the right shoulder. Breathing out, facilitate release. Feel free to linger longer at any spot if you like and ignore what I'm saying. Move at your own pace and approach the meditation in a way you think is most helpful for yourself. Let's move on, if you are ready, to the right elbow. Breathe in, be in touch, be aware of sensations here, subtle sensations at the right elbow. Breathe out, release. Moving on, invite our attention to come back if we do get distracted, which is normal. Let our attention alight at the right wrist so that as we breathe in, we notice sensations here. And as we breathe out, release at the right wrist. We allow attention to flow into the right hand, such that as we breathe in, we are in touch with sensations in the right hand. We are aware of sensations in the palm, the back of the hand, and the sensations in the fingers. And on the out breath, once again, gently we remind ourselves to release. See if we can give permission and release the weight of our right arm. Simply allow it to rest comfortably on its physical support. Breathing out, releasing, we release our attention from the right hand and switching side, place our attention now at the left shoulder. Pick a spot at the left shoulder. Breathe in, be aware of sensations here at the left shoulder. Out and release. When you feel ready, allow attention to move down to the left elbow and repeat. Touch and release, synchronize with the breath. We allow attention to travel further down to the left wrist. Touch and release at your own pace. And then we allow our attention to flow into the left hand so that we are aware of sensations in the hand, the palm, the back of the hand, the fingers. And each time when we breathe out, don't forget to mentally say the word release. Not trying to make anything happen, but simply reminding ourselves the possibility of releasing, of letting go. Breathing out, releasing, we can give permission, and maybe we can release the weight of our left arm and allow it to rest comfortably on its physical support. And we don't have to unnecessarily tense up the arm muscles or shoulder muscles to hold up both arms. Next, we invite attention to come back to the chest, to what we call the heart center, the center of the chest, at the place where we tend to feel strong emotions. Breathing in, be aware of sensations here at the chest. Breathing out, we repeat the word release. Coming back to the chest, as we breathe in, we may be aware of the sensations at the chest, aware of the movements of the breath at the chest, or even the beating of our own heart. Breathing out, once again, we reinforce the idea of release. We allow attention to flow downwards to the abdomen, somewhere around the region of the navel, inside the body. As we breathe in, pick a spot here so that we are aware of the sensations at the abdomen. Breathing out, we release. We allow attention to go even lower and deeper to the very base of our spine, to the tip of our tailbone. Imagine allowing ourselves to breathe in and be aware of sensations here at the very base of our own spine. And as we breathe out, we release. Releasing on the out breath, we can mentally give permission to rest the weight of our pelvis, or whatever weight is supported by our pelvis, to rest that weight comfortably on our seat or on the physical support. And then we allow attention to travel down the legs one at a time, starting from the right leg at the right hip. Breathe into the right hip joint. Just mentally choose a spot, don't have to be precise. Be in touch with sensations here on the in-breath, release on the out-breath at the right hip. Moving down to the right knee, touch and release at our own pace. Continue down to the right ankle. Feel free to move at your own pace. Notice subtle sensations here at the right ankle on the in-breath, release on the out-breath. The attention flow into the right foot so that we are aware of sensations in the foot, the sole of the foot, the top of the foot, sensation in the toes. Breathing out, remember to release. Now that we are in touch with the sensations in the right leg, imagine on the out-breath releasing, we give permission to release the weight of the right leg and allow it to rest comfortably on the floor or wherever support it is on. Switching over to the left side, starting from the left hip joint, touch and release at our own pace. Moving down to the left knee, touch and release. Down to the left ankle, touch and release. And finally, into the left foot. Breathe in, be in touch with sensations here. Out and release. Release the weight of your left leg. Allow it to rest comfortably on the floor, on the support. Having traveled through from crown to feet, we allow our body to rest in this posture, to continue to settle into it, releasing unnecessary tensions and tightenings. We rest our mind on the breath and continue for the last few minutes of the meditation. On the in-breath, be in touch with what is happening here, with the body, with the mind. And on the out-breath, continue to facilitate a deeper sense of release. Okay, so that is meditation on touch and release. At least for myself, I find that just by saying the word release, not really trying to do anything about it, quite often the body will respond to this cue. Not immediately, but maybe a bit later. And a certain degree of physical release can happen, which is quite nice because it feels so much more comfortable. The body feels more comfortable, more at ease, and which is a kind of good effect to observe. Yeah. And that is the power of to simply be aware, be in touch with what is happening. Maybe what we are in touch with can be unpleasant or neutral or whatever. Just to acknowledge, to be aware, and also to facilitate the process of letting go of all reactivity, all conditioning can actually have a very significant beneficial effect. First, we may observe it, like in this case, physically, but it is also possible on a more emotional feeling level, on a mental, cognitive level. Sometimes our mind can get very preoccupied with a certain train of thoughts. We find ourselves repeating the same narrative or story over and over again. And this is also a similar process, to be in touch, to be aware of that kind of thoughts, and to facilitate the mind to release them, so that we can think differently. The second meditation, I thought to do a visualization practice along the same idea of so-called purification. Here, traditionally, we tend to visualize a source of purity or whatever. I usually think of it as a inner spiritual shower head. Just like having a shower, basically, the whole idea is this cleansing, this facilitating a process of releasing or letting go. It's almost as if we accumulate a certain degree of dirt or yucky stuff, unpleasant, unhappy conditionings or experiences, even been hurt, or we ourselves hurting others. Yeah. So, and to facilitate a process of releasing ourselves from their negative influence, not so much that we can wipe them clean, but to no longer repeat the same old mistakes, repeat the same old pattern of reactivity. So the visualization is very simple. You visualize the source. You literally can visualize a shower head if you want. I tend to visualize a sphere of light. And usually purification is associated with the color white color. Yeah. So you can visualize, it seems more like they use the word nectar, some liquidy, fluid, white ambrosia or whatever flows from the source through the crown into the body. So it's an inner shower. It's almost like washing through and carrying away from all the, I usually think of them as all the cells in the body, and carry away all the negativity and flushing them out of our body from the lower part of our body. And so I'm going to guide you through this meditation. Feel free to visualize it in a way that works for you. I tend to do it very slowly. Otherwise, my body and mind cannot catch up with what I'm visualizing. I also tend to piggyback my visualization or join it with bodily sensations because it works better for me. So I will, as I imagine the fluid flows, let's say, through the brain, I try to associate that with the actual tactile sensations that I'm experiencing. Almost as if, as I imagine, one component is imaginary, I imagine. Another component is real, how I'm actually feeling in this moment. And I find that by joining them together, it sort of gives grounding to the visualization, to the imagination. There's at least some part of it is real, yeah. And I find that works better for me. So you might want to give it a try. And the point is, it's all symbolic, that the whole body, by going through the whole body, in this visualization, the whole of our body symbolizes the whole of our being, the whole of our person. So all aspects of our person, physical, emotional, and mental, are somehow cleansed and help to facilitate the releasing them from old habits, old conditionings, old mistakes, old hurts, and fear, and trauma. So we start letting them go. And so allowing some new possibilities into our own body, into our own heart, into our own mind. So then we see what happens. At the end, it's always good with visualization to end with a really wonderful vision of what is possible for ourselves. So in this case, visualizing ourselves in a state of complete freedom from those conditionings and reactivities and mistakes, symbolized by our body that is so clean, clear, and full of this radiant white energy. So that is usually how we finish the practice. So let's give it a try and see what happens. So again, start with, if you're lying down, you do have to do some mental gymnastics as to how to think, instead of a shower head, think of maybe a high pressure water jet, maybe, who knows, and flushing through your system from the crown down and out through the feet. Anyway, I'm just joking. So let's start by settling our body into a meditation posture that we feel comfortable and supportive. Take care that the spine or the back is upright if you are sitting straight, if you are lying down. And give our body a few moments to adjust and find its way into the meditation posture. To facilitate the transition of body and mind into meditation, often it's helpful to just take a few minutes at the beginning of the meditation, return our attention to our own body, even briefly scanning, sweeping from the crown downwards. Notice sensations in the different parts of the body. Notice sensation at the face, especially. Have we once again unconsciously tense up the muscles of the face? And if we have, see if we can gently relax those facial muscles and see if we can let in a feeling of softness into the face. Keep the face soft, at ease, relaxed as much as we can. Notice sensation in the rest of the body, sensation at the shoulders, the neck, sensations in the arms, sweeping down the torso. Just notice how we feel. Notice sensation in the back. Is our back? Are there any uncomfortable feelings at the back? Be aware of the pelvis resting on the seat, on the support. Continue down both legs. And in the visualization practice, we are simply going to follow a similar route, sweeping through the body, but this time with visualized elements of radiant white healing nectar that has the power to cleanse, to free us from negativities, unpleasant feelings, hurtful feelings, free us from all reactivities and all conditionings. So we start by visualizing above our crown a source of such a blessing, such positive energy. You can visualize it as a sphere of light, full of radiant white nectar. Feel free to change the form to something that is meaningful to you. Everything in the visualization is symbolic, so we don't have to see them as very solid. Instead, it seems to be made of light. When you feel ready, allow a flow of radiant white nectar to emerge from the source above your crown. Allow it to flow gently through your crown into your body, flooding the brain, the skull, the crown. Imagine the nectar penetrate into the individual cells along the way, picking up, cleansing them of anything negative, harmful, unhelpful. You might want to give the form to such negativity. I usually just visualize them as black stuff, the opposite of white nectar, and they're picked up, they're cleansed, and carried away by the nectar, which flows through the head, through the inside of the head, touching the sides of the head, the back of the head, touching the face from the inside out, cleansing the face of any negativity, any unhelpful tension and tightening due to habits. And occasionally, as we sweep past, as we cleanse, we may find that the body responds by relaxing, then welcome in any pleasant feelings, any positive indication of change. Allow yourself to enjoy those pleasant feelings, those feelings of softness, of ease and comfort. If they're here, make them a part of the meditation. Moving at your own pace, you don't have to follow my pacing. Now I visualize the nectar flow downwards into the throat, the neck, cleansing this part of the body, picking up any negativities, any sense of tiredness, or tension, tightness, and discomfort, along with all their negative associations, sweeping them away. Next, I imagine the light, the nectar, the radiant whiteness flows into the shoulders, penetrate the tissues, the bones, the joints, saturating all the cells along the way, in a way that is meaningful to each one of us. Even though the tensions at the shoulders may not have changed, I like to think to myself that the nectar has picked up all the negative conditionings, the reactivities associated with those tensions, and are carrying them away from the shoulders. As we visualize in our own way, more nectar flowing from the source into our body. Now divert a part of it into the arms, from the shoulder, past the shoulder joints, down both arms at the same time, sweeping through the upper arms, alongside sensations of the upper arms, we imagine the nectar flowing, touching the skin, the muscles, the bones, the joints, as well as filling up the spaces between the cells and tissues, so that no part is left untouched by this cleansing nectar. Imagine it sweeping past the elbows, flowing at your own pace into the forearms, past the wrists, and eventually into both hands, cleansing as they go. Cleanse away all the dark, negative stuff, all the association with pain, with suffering, with mistakes, as well as all those heavy feelings of guilt or shame. Imagine that every cell in both arms is now filled with that radiant white nectar, along with all its positive healing properties. When you feel ready, returning attention to the chest, to the torso, as we admit in more of the white nectar flowing downwards, flowing down past shoulders into the chest, picking up along the way all the negativities, sweeping them away, cleansing all the cells, the tissues, the bones, the spaces between the tissues. Everything is saturated with white nectar. Not just the front of the body, but also the back of the body, taking care of the upper back, the middle back, having saturated the chest with this positive energy. We imagine them flowing downwards into the abdomen, filling up the abdomen. Imagine the nectar penetrates not only all the vital organs, but also the muscles, all the way out to the skin, from front to the back, flowing into the muscles of the lower back, the spine, the vertebral column, flowing into all the various organs, gathering into the pelvic region. Coming back to the practice, let in more of that radiant white nectar from the source, flowing through the body, repeatedly cleansing, healing, flowing in, filling up the pelvis, and then moving down both legs at the same time, starting from the hips, penetrating the skin, the muscles, the bones, the joints of the legs, moving from hips to knees, from knees flowing downwards towards the ankles, so that all the structures along the way are completely filled and cleansed by that radiant white nectar. And then allow the nectar to flow into both feet, saturating the structure of the feet, ensuring that every cell is filled and cleansed by that radiant white nectar. And if you like, and if it is meaningful to you, you can imagine at the feet is where we release all those negativities that we have cleansed and gathered up from the rest of the body. We release those negativity in the form of some dark, black, yucky stuff, and let them flow out of the body from the feet and disappear completely. Coming back to the visualization, letting in even more of that radiant white nectar, sweeping through the whole body, every part of the body, every cell in the body, reassuring ourselves that no part of the body is untouched by the nectar, is not cleansed, healed, and saturated by the radiant nectar. And that all negativities, all of that negative feelings, reactions, all conditionings, past mistakes, all of those are cleansed and swept out of the body, out of the system, out of our awareness. And see if you can visualize, imagine the final state of the practice. A body completely saturated down to the cells and the spaces between them with radiant white nectar that is imbued with very positive qualities, positive associations. And allow yourself to enjoy this visualized image, the feeling of being completely cleansed, completely released from the past, released from past conditionings, reactivities, past hurt, harm, mistakes, symbolized by this image of a body filled with radiant white nectar. Rest our attention with this image, with this symbol, along with any pleasant feelings, however mild they may be, and allow it to imprint on our mind. Rest in this state for the next few moments. And then we can dedicate by gathering up all things positive to come out of our practice this evening. We dedicate this positive momentum towards the fulfillment of our wishes and aspirations for ourselves and others. We can dedicate that may anything good or positive to come out of this practice, may they somehow stay with us. May they linger in body and mind and heart so that they can continue to benefit us. Okay, so that's an example of a kind of visualization associated with purification. Traditionally, in Tibetan Buddhist practice, it's often combined with maybe some chanting or recitation of mantras, some kind of multitasking, of body, involving body, speech, and mind, which can be a bit overwhelming. So we are only looking today, we only do the mental aspect of visualization and try to find a way to do it in such a way that is meaningful to us, and hopefully we can at least imagine some kind of positive change that can come out of this. So thank you for your attention. I wish you have a good week ahead and hope to see you next Monday.